Da, 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 da. Hello, Nicole.
Hello, Marc.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
High fives. So we have our coffees, and I think people assume we get takeout coffee every day.
No, because
it looks
like we do it.
We do it all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, probably twice a week, 3 times a week, maybe 4, maybe 5.
No.
Okay, but
No.
it's quite a bit, but not as much as people
Friday
think. So
is like a regular occurrence, just because we have a lot going on, and
yes, it just makes life easier. And
it's our treat.
and here's the great thing.
It's a treat.
I've had this Mr. Coffee warmer for, I don't know, 10 years, 10 plus years. And this is something I used to use in California when it would get a little chilly in the mornings.
Oh.
Nicole, stop watching videos.
Sorry.
What are you doing? And I'm so happy to be able to use this again in the shop. I mean, it kind of works. It really just kind of keeps the bottom of the cup hot. It doesn't necessarily keep the whole drink hot.
It's that last sip. It keeps hot. So.
But it's better than nothing. And I just feel cool using it.
So don't touch my mug, Edna.
Yeah, so Nicole mistakenly got this mug years ago.
Years.
And it was just hilarious. We had to keep it. And it says, "Don't touch my mug, Edna."
And we've never really figured it out. Is it Edna that
Is Edna that's like, is she the problem?
Is she the problem, or is this her mug?
Or is that Edna's mug? I'm going to say it's probably Edna's
Edna,
mug.
I'm touching your mug.
Sorry, Edna. Tough. Okay, so I guess we both shouldn't drink coffee at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a couple bit of news items here and things to announce. First of all, the Patreon thing is going great. You guys, your support really means a lot to us. It's super awesome. So patreon.com/woodwhisperers where you can find the information. Multiple levels you could sign up for. We've got stickers. We've got the little coins, the challenge coins. There's little bonuses that you can get. And you could help influence the content on the show, which is pretty cool.
Questions and all that fun stuff.
The other thing is a new bundle. So
Guild.
we put out the Guild bundle that changes periodically. Now we have 4 projects in there, and those 4 projects are basically, if you get the bundle, it covers you for the whole year. It's 4 projects that are spanned across the year. So we've got a dining chair coming up in the spring. Then we have a Queen Anne highboy with Cremona in the summer. In the fall, there is a small desktop jewelry box with drawers with me, and then Cremona's going to start off January with a waterfall live edge table.
Do we get to keep it?
No, well, I don't see how we're going to get it from where he lives to where we live.
But
it's a live edge table that basically gets cut and mitered, and the grain just falls down the side because the slab itself becomes one of the legs. So the grain just kind of transfers as you go. Very simplistic in concept, but execution is going to be kind of interesting to watch.
I see the waterfall counters a lot on the Property Brothers. I watch the Property Brothers.
Yes. So very cool stuff.
Yeah. Do you know what else?
I don't know what else.
You can get if you join the Guild. A bunch of discounts.
Secret access to a secret society. Oh, okay.
I just told you, discounts.
Okay.
So,
discounts.
Some may not know this, and you may even be a Guild member and not know this, but
we don't talk about it enough.
No, we don't. I work with a lot of the companies that we like and have relationships with, and we get discounts. So I just added 2 new companies to our discounts page. If you head over to the woodwhisperguild.com/discounts, we got a 28% off your order at the rubber flooring. So the rubber flooring that you talked about.
Yeah, these rubber floor pads, 20% off. That's a good deal because those are not cheap.
Yep, they gave us a coupon code for that. And then I'm working with Arbortech, and they're going to be giving us a 10% discount.
And there's like 7 or 8 more there, and this is just an ongoing thing. They change, new people come in, old people go out. It just depends on what's going on. This is just part of your membership. You don't have to pay a fee for this routinely. It's not a subscription. You just become a Guild member by buying a project, and you get full-time access to those discounts at all times.
I'm working for you all the time.
All right, so big deal. We kind of hit a milestone. We sort of finished the end of phase 1, at least what I'm calling phase 1
of the shop.
The conversion from a garage to an actual shop space. So the dust collection is up, the tools are set up, and I'm ready to start my first project. So super exciting. There's still things that I'm going to be doing in the future, but right now I'm functional, and that's really what I consider the end of phase 1. Am I functional? Do I have dust collection? Is the lighting in place? Can I make videos? That's where we're at now. So super excited about that. And we just released 2 videos this week. One on my acoustic panels, and if you compare this audio to last week's audio, you'll probably hear a difference just in our voices. These acoustic panels really help to kill that reverberation. And then I also did one on lighting.
I was going to make a John Mayer joke, but that doesn't really fit.
There's nothing funny about John Mayer. except for the man himself.
You know, acoustic.
Yeah. So yeah, acoustic panels and my video on LED lights. And we were working with American Green lights on those, so I show the lights that we used and give you some terminology so you can shop for your own LED lights for your shop. Let's see what else. Denver Maker Meetup is coming next week, so we're having another one of those Thursday, 5:30 p.m. at the farmhouse at Breckenridge Brewery. So if you're in the Denver area, we'd love to see you there.
There's a Facebook group now. If you search for Denver area makers.
There's a couple Denver Makers Facebook groups.
I just called it Denver area
It's kind of obvious which one is us.
Yeah.
Because it's the coolest one.
But you need to be in Colorado, so just to save on, because it's kind of a nightmare to admin these groups. So just say that you live in Colorado and you'll get in.
That's the only requirement.
Yep.
Okay. So let's see. I've got questions here pre-selected from Patreon.
I just want to say...
I got an itchy armpit too.
Well, while you're doing that, I just wanted to say thank you to the Kansas City Woodworkers Guild. Or is it woodworking? Woodworkers.
Doesn't matter.
KCWoodworkersGuild.org. When we were in Kansas City, they stopped by and gave us 2 of these cute little trucks here.
Yeah.
And
one for Ava, one for Mateo.
They love them. So I meant to say thank you last week, but if you're in the Kansas City area, check out the Guild in Kansas City. So again, KCWoodworkersGuild.org.
Yeah, they had a booth at the show.
They
a bunch
did.
of looks like a bunch of active woodworkers, nice people.
They have a very nice website too.
Yeah, they do. All right, so Michael Zellman wrote in. He says, "Great show, guys. I really like the way you interact." Hey, I like it too. Oh, that's my baby. My question is this. I want to spray clear lacquer. How many stages of an HVLP system should I need? Any manufacturers you'd recommend? Now, I did a video on this, and I have to go back and find the link for you, but it kind of gives you the rundown there. I really like Fuji. Apollo makes good stuff too, but I've just been partial to Fuji, and they've worked with us in the past. Really nice people. I would say for lacquer, you could probably get away with just about anything if you dilute it well enough, but I would not want to see you go for anything less than a 2-stage turbine. I think that's just going to be more predictable, and the price of 2-stage turbines has really come down quite a bit. They're pretty accessible at this point. It's once you get to 3, 4, 5-stage, things get a little bit more expensive. So I believe they've got like the Hobby Pro, Fuji Hobby Pro is what they would call that, or the Semi Pro. I get them mixed up. But check those out. I think those are both good options. Erlex makes a couple of good 2-stage units as well, but I would say 2 stages is your sweet spot.
Hey, guess what? Are you talking about 2-stage HVLP?
Did you touch me,
woman? I
woman?
was kind of listening.
I charge money for that. Go ahead.
I'm giving away a Fuji spray.
Oh, you are? This month?
Right now.
Right now?
Right now.
TheWoodWhisperer.com/giveaway.
Giveaways, I think.
No.
Is it giveaway?
That would be silly to make it plural.
I don't know. TheWoodWhisperer.com/
I think it's giveaway.
Yeah, it is giveaway. So I'm giving away not only a Fuji spray, it's a Semi Pro 2. And then I'm also giving away a Jet Cyclone. And I'm also giving away, I'm giving 3 things away this month. Wooden Shop is giving away a huge DVD collection bundle. You're such an ass.
Go on. I'm listening to reason. All right.
So there you go.
That's great. That's a good giveaway.
It's live right now.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate you helping out with the giveaways and signing up for them.
Yeah.
Okay. Kai Valen says, how would you strip paint from a large chest of drawers without harming a veneer underneath? My parents repainted an item several times, but the sides and insides of the drawers still have the gorgeous original dark wood veneer, and I would like to bring the whole piece back to that look. Okay, well, first of all, just be forewarned, what you see on the sides of those drawers may not necessarily reflect what's under there. I mean, maybe you know the history of the piece, so you know that it is what you think it is. But sometimes you dig down a few layers and find out, hey, there's a reason why this thing was painted. So just be wary of that. Now, I worked in a refinishing shop, and there was a sign on the wall that basically said that we are not responsible for any damage that occurs because of the stripping process. And the problem is, you're either going to, in that case, we would dip these things in this giant vat, like one of those things that the Joker would fall in.
Well, you know what it looked like? It looked like what you would put water in for animals, like cows and horses, like those big...
Like a trough.
Metal, like...
Yeah, like a tub.
Yeah.
So we would dip them, but we would actually have this disclaimer that this process is very difficult on furniture, and it could cause veneer to lift. It could cause the adhesive to just let go. You could have all kinds of problems. And then when you're sanding and scraping and trying to get the surface ready for a new finish, you could have problems there as well. So it's always a little bit risky. But what I would recommend is taking your time. I would recommend going with a chemical stripper. The reason is because the stripper will get all of that surface material off. Hold on. Okay. Are you laughing about strippers?
Yeah, I was.
Anyway, her mind is always in the gutter, this girl over here. What do they do with you people in Missouri?
I know.
Okay, so if you use a chemical stripper, you could slowly but surely peel off the layers and scrape them off without actually taking any wood away. If you immediately attack this surface by sanding or scraping, you could start to remove layers of wood, which could then end up with burn through. And if there's any irregularities in the surface and you're sanding along, you could just burn right through and not even realize it until it's too late. So I'd recommend using a chemical stripper, slowly but surely get that finish off of there and see what you're working with, and then very carefully start the sanding process. So another warning is that sometimes the stains and finishes are embedded in that veneer, and sand as much as you want, you just can't get it out, right? So these are some of the, problems that you have in the world of refinishing, especially when it's a veneered piece. So just be careful and take your time with it.
Yeah, might as well.
Okay, Jerry Parker says, old guy here, just setting up my shop. All the major tools require dust collection, and they have 2.5-inch fittings. Do I really need to connect them to a 4-inch main? Well, it kind of depends on what you want to do. Now, a lot of the tools that have the 2.5-inch ports, you could just pop on a shop vac and take your shop vac from one station to another. That might be one quick solution for you. Any tool that you can get on a 4-inch port versus a 2.5-inch, if you can modify it adequately, it usually will improve the dust collection because it's going to increase the airflow, and presumably you would have a system that actually has a 4-inch intake on it, so you would get more airflow instead of restricting down to 2.5. So yeah, if you can do that, modify it, that will actually should perform better for you. The question is, should you? Are these going to be the tools you're going to settle on, or are you going to upgrade at some point? Because most next level tools have 4-inch ports. All right, so just think about the future and what you plan to do. And if these are your tools for the rest of your life, then it may be worth the time to figure out how to modify them and increase that port size to 4 inches and just get that much more airflow in there. Okay, got a lot of questions today.
We do.
So Michael Tamaris wrote in, and he had a whole thing, like when people are trying to figure out what tools should I buy. It's one of my favorite questions. They give you a whole list of what they have, what they're doing. It gets very complicated, so let me sum up. He said, should I upgrade my table saw, buy a bandsaw, or upgrade power? Can't run a dust collector right now because it pops the circuit. So he basically has one limited circuit. He turns a dust collector on with another tool, pop.
Do you remember in our first house, we would do that if we turned on the microwave, we'd pop the circuit?
Oh, that's right. Like if the microwave and toaster were on together?
Yeah, and the TV, like there was a few things.
Oh, that's right. Well, it was an early plasma TV, which would draw a lot of power. Don't lean back too far, because you got something right here. I'm just making sure you don't hit your head. I'm looking out for you. By the way, everybody, heater. Warming up Nicole's butt as we speak. So here's the thing. I say go for the power. Now, he did add an additional detail that he's probably going to be moving in 2 to 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
So his concern is if he adds a sub panel, he can't bring that power with him, so he's thinking long term. The problem here is if you want dust collection, you have to get the power, right? So if dust collection is a priority, you have no choice. Go for the power. The other thing is he's looking at possibly upgrading his getting a bandsaw or upgrading the table saw. He has a small DeWalt portable unit. Well, here's the problem. I am always in favor, with a few exceptions maybe, but mostly always in favor of getting a tool you don't have, satisfying a function you don't currently have, before you upgrade something you do currently have. So I think it's much better if he's going to buy a new tool, buy that bandsaw before you upgrade the table saw, because you can still make that table saw work, right? But upgrading the table saw means, okay, well now it's working better, but you haven't really added a ton of extra functionality. Now the thing with the bandsaw is, keep in mind, jigsaws can substitute for bandsaws, so you might be able to get some of that same functionality without going all the way to the bandsaw level. But still, to go back to the core question, I think you want power, and 2 to 5 years, that's a long time. And you could do a lot in 2 to 5 years in terms of making stuff and learning. So if you don't do that power, you've got dust everywhere, you're sort of dead in the water. You can't run the dust collector with another tool if that safety issue is a big concern for you. So my vote would be power.
Yeah.
And then hopefully, maybe that helps with the resale of the house to say, hey, this was a shop and there's a sub panel in here now.
It won't.
It won't, but we could be optimistic, Nicole. Okay, Speg wrote in and said, how do you find time, this will be a question for both of us, how do you find time outside of regular working hours to work in the shop when you have kids? Our son is 8 weeks old, and I haven't been in the shop since he was born. Okay, well that's not atypical,
I was
right?
going to say, first, give yourself a break.
Yeah, don't expect too much out of that situation.
You're in the 3-month cave, nothing happens period right now.
This is not the time to judge the situation.
Yeah.
You know, this is time to hunker down and, you know, survive and just get through it and support your partner and make sure you guys are just happy and fed and getting sleep. Right? Now, beyond that point, it comes down, I'm going to say this whole thing comes 100% into the realm of good communication.
Yes.
And having a good relationship because you cannot get your shop time unless the other half is okay with you getting shop time. If that's not there, you're going to have a problem. You're kind of screwed at that point because it's going to be an uphill battle.
Teamwork.
TM work.
TM work.
So if I need to work late, and this has happened quite a bit, trying to get this shop done in 2.5 months was a lot of work. So I worked many evenings, and what we'll usually do is compromise. And the kids come home at 4 o'clock. We both go inside. We get dinner ready, keep the kids busy, play with them, eat dinner, and then after dinner, I come back in the shop while everyone's settling down. And then we just kind of try to figure it out. Some days I can come back in and put Mateo down because I'm back in time. But sometimes I'm there the whole time, and Nicole just takes it on. But the key, the sort of pivoting point here is Nicole. If she's not willing to do a little extra work to allow me to go in the shop, then I can't do it, right?
Well, and there's times where, like, I was just on a podcast called Current Geek, and they record at 5 o'clock. So I'm like, I really want to be on this podcast. Can you take over? So it's a give and take kind of thing. Yeah. So if there's something she wants to do, maybe she hasn't gotten a pedicure in
Well, you mentioned
months.
that before about getting your nails done or going to get your hair cut.
Oh,
and I said, well, look,
you
know, why? She's like, well, I should go during the day, you know, during the work week. And it's like, well, why waste valuable work hours that we don't have enough of?
Right.
Go on the weekend. And she's like, oh yeah, I guess I can leave you with the kids.
Yeah.
You know, so
and that's going to be her challenge too. You are very capable.
Yeah.
You are capable of taking care of that baby.
Well, we assume. You never know.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah. Anyway,
figure it out.
You're
in it together.
It's a thing of communication, but I'm just saying, if you don't have the support of your significant other, it falls apart.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, Joey Greer wrote in, what is the first project you're going to do now that you have your full shop up and running? Secondary question, any guild meetings coming up? So I'll answer the second one first.
Oh, can I just say, keep doing nice things for each other. Okay.
And don't interrupt each other. It should be number 2 on that list. Okay. All right, so Tuesday, February 7th, that's next week at 8 p.m. Eastern, we are going to have the return of the guild meetings.
Woo-hoo!
This has been something we haven't done in a long time, and the topic is going to be shop flow. We're going to talk a little bit about how I positioned my tools, got everything together, and how I envision the workflow in this space. This is something that's available to all guild members. Doesn't matter, when you joined or whatever, you're always a member. So if you're interested in that, definitely go to woodwhispererguild.com and you could sign up. Okay, so to his question, my first project is going to be something that's going to show off the Wood Whisperer thread taps that we're coming out with. So I'm going to go get, in fact, today, after we do a live session, actually we have a hangout after this, and then I'm going to go to CS Hardwoods, I think it's called, Collector Specialty.
Yeah.
They have a lot of slabs, and I'm going to pick me out a nice little slab, and I've got some hairpin legs, and I'm going to show how you could thread tap the threads in the bottom of the slab to attach the hairpin legs. Not a super complicated project, but something that showcases the use of the threads.
I'm excited for a slab table.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. So I'm going to make a little coffee table, and then, hey, we could just buy bigger legs if you want it to be taller.
Yeah.
And reattach them, because we're going to use thread taps to do it. And after that, it's the kitchen table project, right? We want some kind of a modular sort of, folding kitchen table that's going to fit in our little
just nice
breakfast nook.
And big.
Nice.
Long.
And big.
Long, I mean.
And the final question from our patrons, Peter Sweek, and I didn't get to all of them, I'm sorry guys. As you can see, we had a lot. I've been doing woodworking for a while. I've gotten really comfortable in a shop around power tools. In the back of my mind, though, I want to be careful to not get too complacent around power tools like the table saw. Any tips regarding shop safety and keeping it at the forefront? Okay, here's the easiest thing you can do. And I've probably said this before, so pardon me if I have. You have to think about the thing that is on your mind at the moment. So the worst mistake you can make at any tool is to think about your next step. And it's kind of a daydreaming thing that you do. So you're pushing this through the table saw and you go, okay, well next I've got to take this over to the workbench and grab my shoulder plane and I'm going to do that. You're thinking about the next step instead of solely focusing on the thing you're doing. If you're solely focusing on that step, it's actually really hard to do something stupid because you're acutely aware of what you're doing. So that is the best advice I've heard. I wish I could remember who initially said that to me, so I can give them credit, because it's not my original idea, but I found that it actually makes a huge difference. If I'm 100% focused, laser focused on pushing something through that table saw, the bandsaw, or the router, whatever, you find that you will not forget these details. It's hard to become complacent because you're watching a carbide tipped blade spin at thousands of RPMs right in front of your face. You probably shouldn't turn your back on it, you know what I mean? So it's definitely one of those things that keeps it in the forefront of your mind by simply focusing. Okay.
Okay.
We got some time for questions. Let's do it.
Hey, we got some questions.
Oh, by the way.
Oh, go ahead.
Not to interrupt, because that's not what couples should do to one another. So I'm not pre-diabetic.
No.
Like hour after I did this show last week and I said, oh, I found out I'm pre-diabetic, the secondary test results came back and my doctor's like, I think you just ate a lot of carbs.
And we had baked cavatelli the night before.
Yeah, so I think I just kind of carb loaded. And I guess you shouldn't do that before a blood test. And he's like, look, if anything, given your family's propensity for this, you may have it in your future. He's like, but keep control of your weight, exercise, don't eat. And I've already done a lot to cut out sugar in my diet in like the last 10 years. And you can see I'm not really, not what you would call overweight. So he's like, you're probably fine. He's like, if anything, I might call it pre-diabetic. And I'm like, you know what I call that? Normal. Mm-hmm. So I'm still going to do what I always do, but I'm not pre-diabetic. Mm-hmm. But I do still have that little rash under my eyelid. Mm-hmm. Is it better?
It's better.
Thanks.
Yeah. So Gazank wanted to know how long did your phase 1 take?
Well, 2.5 months.
2.5 months.
Yeah, we moved mid-November. Now, of course, we had Pepsi. We had very large spans of time where nothing was done, and we were focusing on the house. And I mean, we had to move an entire house with 2 children to get everything to work out here. Plus, the house had some stuff that needed to be done.
Yeah,
so
still does. Yeah,
and my attention was definitely taken away. But the total time span was 2.5 months to get to this point.
Very good. Josh Mann wants to know, where's your Powermatic sign?
Josh Mann, it's up there.
Yeah.
Want to see
it's
it?
Just higher.
Should I show it?
Yeah, why not? You put up all your little iron metal signs.
Up there. And here, I'll give you a little spin around while we're doing this. Go ahead, you can give me the next question.
Well, somebody, there's always, I mean, not to make fun, but there's always somebody who's going to ask, why did you move to Colorado?
I have no idea why we moved.
Why did we move?
Did someone put the link in?
I'm putting the link in. I'll put the link in. There we go.
I just gave him a little quick panning shot.
Cool. Let's see. Gift Gaff. Yo, Mark.
Yo.
That's your 3rd or 4th warehouse. You seem to spend more time on moving things around than on your projects. Any reason for that?
The hell kind of question is that?
I don't know. Okay, we've been around for 10 years. We've moved 3 times.
I'll tell you what happened. We moved to Phoenix. Yeah. This is before Wood Whisperer. We moved to the Phoenix area, moved onto a property with my parents. The idea was to build them a separate house. And
it didn't work out.
Yeah, it didn't work out. It just took too long for them to do that. Once they finally did build that place, we kind of had damaged our relationship, and it wasn't healthy for us to live together.
You're just gonna let all that out there, huh?
People want answers to the questions. So it was, while we were all sort of happy for the most part with the location, the imperative was we need to repair our family situation, and the way to do that was to get away. So that's why we bought the house that was just a little bit further, when we moved to
with the Dream Shop
to Surprise, and that's where we built the Dream Shop. Everything was fine there, but what we didn't plan on was having kids, because Nicole and I had been trying, I mean, not actively like really, really gung-ho about it, but we had opened the possibility to having children even before we moved to Arizona, and it just wasn't happening for us. So we assumed it wasn't in the cards. And then suddenly, as we were really finalizing the plans for building the shop, suddenly
Surprise!
Mateo appears Now we have a child. And then the second child came, you know, a couple years after that.
4 years.
4 years, a couple 4. And so ultimately,
Times 2.
having children was the second change in our lives that made us say, we need something else. And that's when we decided we wanted to move here. Now, when you're watching the moving, I did move back and forth a little bit because we had that other property and I was paying the mortgage. So why let this big 5-car, 6-car garage sit there unused? I figured I'd move my shop back until we could sell the place. So it's a long, drawn-out story.
It took a long time to sell that first house.
Yeah, so it makes it seem like we've been moving, but we've only moved a couple times.
Yeah.
The shop has moved a little bit more because of that.
And we just took you on the journey.
Yeah, and you guys came on the journey with us, and now we're here setting down roots, and this is where we're going to be. So yeah, we do obviously move around quite a bit.
I guess if you haven't been with us for 10 years, it does look like, you know, and you don't really know the backstory.
Yeah,
so.
there's definitely a solid backstory to it, and maybe it's more than, you know, most people. Maybe not if you're in military. You probably move a lot more than we do. But yeah, obviously I do spend a lot of time moving, but I've also built quite a few projects in my time.
Go to the Wood Whisperer Guild.
That's the other thing. A lot of people don't realize how much we do in the guild, and they assume I'm just picking my butt all day, and we're actually...
He does do that.
I do. Well, sometimes you don't get it all. I'm just like Mateo.
My
butt itches. All right.
Sorry, I started.
Whoops, I made her snort. That's how you know it's a good one.
William Kane, what will be the first new shop project on the channel?
Already answered that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shop project.
Yeah, it says new shop project.
Okay, we already answered that.
Okay, never mind. Maxim AVS has a food recommendation for us. Hot Dog Haas.
Hot Knups.
In Inglewood.
Okay. No one cares about that.
Upscale burgers and dogs.
But we'll write it down.
All right.
Because that sounds good.
Yeah. Larry McDaniel. Nicole, how do you filter through all of this blah, blah? Well, I just look at him.
What?
I'm talking to you.
Oh.
I know he's talking about the chat room, but I'm talking more about you. Been watching y'all since Marc used to do the live feed.
You know how she gets through this blah, blah? The Patreon. The Patreon thing comes in and she goes, whoa, there's actually people who are willing to support this crap? Okay, let's do it.
So what I do is Marc has his questions that he has from the Patreon folks, and as everybody is in the YouTube chat room and they will throw a question out, I have a little notes document that I just copy, paste, and then when he has a pause, I give him a question.
Why you gotta keep touching my boobie?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I can't help it.
It's the beard. It's the beard.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't think the beard is here to stay. The next project's gonna start and I'm gonna want to filter my lungs.
Well, don't you want to get that, like...
I thought about it. I'm just, it's like a couple $100.
Yeah.
I got better things to spend money on right now.
Yeah, that's true. Hunter said that he loves your Deadpool shirt.
Thank you. It's one of my favorites.
I think I got that at Walmart. Can you please recommend a good entry-level table saw that won't break the bank?
For entry-level table saws, I'm not really the best person to ask. You got to have experience with them and know what they offer, the feature sets, and which ones are duds and which ones aren't. So I am going to defer to Amazon. Be careful with those reviews. Throw out the best and throw out the worst.
Be careful with shipment, like who you're getting it from.
Yeah, look at who the shipper is.
Where it's shipping from. So you get a lot of...
But you may also check in a forum.
Stuff.
Maybe a Wood Talk online forum would be a good place to ask. Just see what people have. But I'm not in a position to make a solid, specific recommendation. My apologies for that.
How do you say his name? Alejandro. What's an easy, affordable way to clean blades?
Okay, blade cleaners, you're going to find a lot of different opinions about this. For me, I like to use something that I've already got in the house. I just use some Simple Green. I actually have a bottle of blade cleaner that I got from Rockler too. It's kind of an orange scented one. I'm guessing it's like a citrus-based cleaner that I've been using for years. So I dump it into this little tray, soak the blade, clean it, and then put the stuff back. So between that and Simple Green, and once that's run out and too dirty to keep using, I'll probably just use Simple Green and a little bit of abrasion with a little stiff bristle brush, and that seems to work pretty well. Lots of people have other solutions that work just fine. That's the one that I've settled in on.
Jason Taylor, are you thinking about building a raised floor for your new shop?
The raised floor is something that I would call maybe phase 3. Okay, phase 2 is going to be doing
The wall,
something to
right?
put faux walls in front of these garage doors, these two non-functional doors. This way it gives me something to nail things into, to hang cabinets. It just makes it a more versatile space, and it does additional sealing in terms of air leakage over those doors. So that's gonna be like phase 2, and I would say if I ever do it, it would be phase 3 to put in the floor. I'm just wondering, after a year or so, if I just get used to this slope, then I'm not really going to see a need for it, and we won't do it, because that's going to be a job, man. Especially now that the tools are all here. Oh my gosh, I don't even want to think about it. So it's going to take a lot of frustration for me to go, yeah, it's worth it. Let's do it. So at this point, I'm actually more like 40% yes, 60% no.
It looks not, I mean,
It's not terrible.
It's not terrible.
You just kind of have to walk like this, and
I don't notice at all.
I notice at certain points.
Okay.
And I think as a woodworker, you tend to look and sort of naturally start to see things that are not level or inconsistent with other things. And I think that's what's getting me. Sometimes I look at my workbench, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to shim that up. It is a little bit off.
The MC Pesta, greetings from Spain.
MC Pesto?
Pesto.
Yo, yo, yo. I'm the king of pesto. All right.
Stop interrupting. Coming home from deployment very soon. Cannot wait to start woodworking. Thanks for the inspiration.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes.
Welcome home, or hopefully
soon. And thank you so much for your service.
Yes. I'm MC Pesto, and I'm here to say, I make your poop green. Right? Sorry.
Tommy Tompkin, Mark, can you tell us the square footage of this shop?
Yeah.
Fits into the total square footage of your house for business, personal, utilities, expense, sharing purposes. How does that exactly work?
Well,
it doesn't.
It's 950 square feet. And we have actually taken losses in the sense of not doing that.
Yeah, it gets
because sometimes it can
really
get messy, and you got to talk to your
sticky.
accountant and make sure everything is done on the up and up and done properly to be able to deduct from certain bills based on the amount of square footage compared to your house. And it is definitely something that's worth looking into, because there could be a nice tax benefit to it. But a lot of times we err on the side of caution, and we will wind up paying a little bit extra because we aren't pushing the limit of what we can do.
We're not deducting the electricity, we're not deducting the space.
And in some cases, for instance, the internet. The internet is one of those things that the business owns that, right? The business, the primary reason we have the connection we do is so that we can do this, right? And the fact that we use it for personal reasons, no one's really necessarily tracking our bit usage. So I'm not too worried about that, but the business does cover that expense. Who knows? We're sort of in a more permanent situation. If you're looking to do things like sort of cover part of the power bill, I'm pretty sure you're going to need to document that in a way that makes sense. So sometimes you could have a separate meter that actually shows what the shop is consuming. There are ways to do that, so look into that as a possibility. But you do have to be careful how much you start to deduct, because you don't want to get to the point that you raise suspicion, right? So you have to be cautious with that. So talk to your accountant. That's really the best way to go. But there are benefits to be had.
Yep. David Nichols. Hi, David.
David
wants to know.
Took us for the best barbecue we ever done had.
Oh my gosh, he did.
Thank you, David.
Can you tease us with any additional details on the Guild dining room chairs that you're going to be doing?
No. David,
that was easy.
You know me. You know that I haven't done anything more than think about that line art image that's posted on the Guild site. And I probably won't think about it until about 2 weeks before I start to build it. Honestly, there won't be a whole lot in the way of details. The project will feature some curves. I'm going to try and simplify it as much as possible to make this a very approachable dining chair. Dining chairs can get extremely complex. The chairs you built are extremely complex. So I think you'll probably find this not to be very challenging, but it will be a good, solid, dining chair that would look good in just about any decor. Ours is going to go with the gaming dining table, and I'll probably have to make a bunch of them, so I'm going to be batching these things out. So I don't want them to be excessively complicated. I want it to be approachable. So that's about it on the details.
All right. Marc Raynar is just trying to give me nice compliments, which I appreciate.
Thanks,
said, Marc and Nicole, you both look like you've lost some weight. Looking good. Have you guys been dieting or lost it? No. Not at all.
No. And my weight is a weird thing.
He's fine. Me,
Here's the thing. Before this last year, with all my health anxiety, I was about 175, pushing 180. Then I started to run every day. And like months went by, and then suddenly I got scared because I was getting thin. I was down to like 160, and I had gotten, probably the thinnest I've been since college. And then ever since then, with this move, I haven't been able to run or exercise nearly as much, and by that I mean not at all. And I'm back up to like 170 now. Yeah. So I don't really fluctuate all that much.
I'm not talking about my weight.
And as far as Nicole is concerned, she's beautiful, and that's all we need to say. But thank you.
Yes.
Marc with a C.
Matt Durando, how did the clock build go?
The grandfather clock?
I'm assuming he's talking about the grandfather clock.
If that's what you're talking about, it went great. And I just actually added another video to the series to finish it off because I had to kind of leave in a bit of a rush and I wasn't able to install the glass in the doors. So now, like a couple months later, was able to go back and film that part and actually show people how I installed the glass and did the final installation.
In the house, we had it in just a corner.
Yeah.
And all the stuff, just papers and everything was wrapped. And I won't say I nagged, but I nagged.
You did.
To say, can we please just make organized chaos out of this?
Damn hammering. Well, it wasn't that bad. You don't nag that much.
Well.
Okay, let's wrap this sucker up.
Oh, is it time? Did it
got
go
about
off?
40 seconds.
Okay. We have a couple more.
We got a hangout to do at 11.
Oh, Chris Butler wanted to know: are you going to show the batch process for the dining room chairs? So like.
I will show everything I do.
Because you're going to make me more than one, right?
Well, if you're going to make a chair, you may as well make the whole set. If I make one to completion, the chances of me making the rest probably not going to happen. So it's a lot more work.
All of them at the same time.
But you're going to see me making, I may only show one, but the process will lend itself to batching. That's the whole idea.
All right. X-Men or Avengers?
Avengers.
That was easy.
Let's do some quick ones.
Okay.
Quick fire. Come on, 30 seconds.
Albert.
Give it to me.
So Albert Adams has been around for a very long time.
Oh.
He knows that at one time we were going to do a turning video with me.
Oh.
That is
ancient history, my friend.
Such a long time ago.
Not going to happen.
Probably not. I mean,
let's not even tease it.
I would still like to get
Maybe
back
someday.
in to turn, but I got.
Marc said you nagged on that video. I did actually say she nagged me.
Oh, did I? Mm-hmm. Oh.
Have I tatted the kids' names yet? No. I probably won't ever do that. I've got my kids represented sort of, with analogs, visual analogs. So I've got my bamboo, and each stalk is a member of my family. The problem is there's no Ava in my series of stalks.
You gotta get.
I gotta get an Ava added, but each member of my family is on there, so there should be a total of 4. But I haven't done the name thing.
Dale Williamson wants to know how do.
Well,
sorry, got tongue-tied. How do you join the guild? How do you join the guild?
Joining the guild is probably the easiest thing you could ever do. Just go to thewoodwhispererguild.com and you can read the description there. It'll show you what.
No. Not go to thewoodwhisperer.com.
I said thewoodwhispererguild.com.
Oh, okay.
You are something else today, young lady. Go to thewoodwhispererguild.com. There's all the information about what it is, how to sign up. But you buy any project, you become a guild member. My recommendation is to buy the bundle. You get 4 projects. They're 50% off because you're buying them in advance. But you get immediate access to the website and all the features of the website as well, including those discounts you talked about and our live sessions and all that stuff.
And some really cool exclusive interviews with
some interviews. We've done guild meetings over the past 6-7 years. Yeah. So there's lots of extra content there that you get just by signing up. But the bundle is really the best way to go. It's a year's worth of content, 50% off. You just can't beat the price.
Let's see here. Jason wants to know, what's your favorite color?
Black.
And
which is actually the absence of color.
Yes. Favorite pizza?
Tomato pie from Jersey.
Yeah. Oil-based or water-based finishes?
Depending on what I'm doing. I mean, they both have their merits.
Do you have a favorite hand plane?
The one that happens to be in my hand as I'm doing something. My favorite hand plane is a low-angle jack.
Jack. I knew that.
You got it, girl. Anything else? Should we wrap it up?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, so we still have a bunch of extra videos coming out on the Offcuts channel. Please, if you're not already subscribed, do subscribe to the Offcuts channel. Lots of good content coming out there, but we're gonna switch gears soon now that the shop is done. I've only got a couple more update videos for the Offcuts, and then we're gonna switch back to making projects and things for the regular channel, which I think a lot of people will be happy to see.
Did you get my text the other day, how I wanted you to make me a nice wooden tape dispenser.
Tape dispenser? No. Yes, I did. I actually ignored it.
Like I know, that's why I'm telling you about it.
Didn't somebody just do this?
I don't know, but I want you to make me one.
Oh, someone just did this. Who was it?
Because I have a gnarly metal one that I would love, like a nice,
yeah. I could have sworn
piece of
someone
wood.
just made a bunch of tape dispensers.
Well,
all right, well, I'll look into
email
it.
them and ask them to send me one.
Yeah, I could have sworn. And save me the work, please. Okay, so anything else? Have a great Super Bowl this weekend, everyone, if you follow that sort of thing.
Oh, everybody's asking you who you're rooting for.
I can't root for New England.
Yeah.
Is what it comes down to. So a lot of times in sports, that's the thing. It's what's the lesser of the two evils.
So Falcons?
I would have to root for the Falcons
There you
this
go.
weekend. Cannot root for New England.
I'm going to make some meatball subs on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. And are you going to make...
Crab dip.
So, yeah, the crab dip. Sure. Oh, she makes this good crab dip. It's so good. Okay. Oh, you know what? Patreon. Got to thank everybody.
Thank everybody.
These are all the folks who helped us out on Patreon. I'm going to read your names right now in the best way that I possibly can. Peter Swike, DJ Chrisman, Jerry Parker, Mike Tars, Chuck Thompson, Chris Orden, Speg, we answered one of his questions. Peter Schulke, Michael Tamariz, Jeremy Combs, Brian Boatwright, Joshua Shoemaker, and Michael Zellman. Thank you, everybody. And if you want to help out too, patreon.com/woodwhisper is where you can do that. Okay, I'm going to go over here.
I can't believe no one noticed or said anything about my cool jacket.